Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 7 of the Mobcast. We are at the halfway point of the season, believe it or not. The shit always goes by so quick. I'm joined with the boys, as always, Caleb and Adam. Today we're going to discuss the Promised Kings entrance. A star is born, as they say. The Avery Johnson game, 5 rushing touchdowns, and a win over Texas Tech. Look ahead to TCU the rest of the season, and obviously the quarterback controversy. So, boys, besides the obvious meat, in the Howard Avery stuff, any takeaways from the game that aren't quarterback based?
I was, relatively pleased with the secondary's performance. I was mentioning to you guys earlier. Marquise Siegel had, I would say, probably his best game to date this season. Especially pretty big first quarter, and then Kobe Savage with 2 picks was pretty good as well. Um, so that's, other than the main headline here. That's definitely something I'm pretty happy with this game. Hopefully, I won't have to see everyone at the first responder bowl. Uh, so we'll see. I could see us turning this season around. Decent stretch over the next few games. Favored as 7.5 point favorites against TCU. Houston, we'll see. West Virginia should have won that one. That was a heartbreaking ending for
Crazy
them.
finish.
Yeah,
Crazy finish.
Big 12, man.
gave me
No.
whiplash.
Yeah, I
So yeah,
saw
I'm,
your tweets.
dude, cautiously optimistic, as I kind of said at the beginning of the season as well. We'll see.
Very surprised about that. Not to jump, I know this is we kind of just skip Texas Tech, but 7.5 line for Kansas State against TCU. I got to say that's a lot of points.
I think that I think I think that it's one of those lines where, and I hate to even put this out into the void, but it's like that's a lot of points, and I feel like it's like trying to get the public all over. Oh, TCU won't lose by more than a touchdown, and then K State just comes out and rolls because Vegas knows something. But
They know that
no, to
Avery
pig,
Johnson.
yeah. But to piggyback on what Adam said, the ever since Kobe Savage got moved to the jack safety, to the kind of center field role, quarterbacking the secondary, it's worked wonders. Should have just started the season out that way. I don't know what the thought process was to not start the season out that way, but one thing you got to give this staff credit for is they're not afraid to make adjustments personnel wise when things aren't working. And ever since Kobe's been put in the heart of that secondary, they've massively improved. And then also another kind of takeaway outside what the meat and potatoes of the show is going to be is the tackling was not very good. And I know that some of that might have to do with Jake getting hurt, or Jake not getting hurt, but the targeting, and Daniel Green out. The linebacker room was a little thin. Maybe they were tired, but I wasn't very pleased with the tackling. But all things considered, that patented bend but don't break Joe Clanderman defense um, is looking pretty good these last couple of games, man. I know that we were so disappointed after Oklahoma State, but I really thought that they played pretty well down there too. So maybe we're turning a corner over there.
I think that Tennant had he didn't miss. So, and I think his one was 47 against Tech. So, nice to
Did you
see
know?
him.
Did you know that he is perfect in his entire career on kicks between 40 and 49 yards?
No, I didn't.
It's just when he gets inside 40 that he turns into a pumpkin.
That's not right. I'm looking at stats
But
right now. He's 0 for 3 last year from 40 to 49.
no, I'm saying this year. Like
Oh,
he
okay. But
like
bro
all
could
of his
not
all
hit
like
one last year between 40. He was 0 for 3.
Yeah. I'm saying like this year, he gets
Yeah,
past 40 yards and he's just money, but inside 40 yards or extra points, I don't know what happens.
yeah. Where is his one? His one miss against Missouri was over 50, so I guess you can't really go after him for that.
Yeah,
Definitely the 20 to 29 against UCF was something, but
yeah.
um,
I just realized that I said in his career. I meant to say this
no,
year.
you're good,
So
dude. No, you're fine. No, he took a he's definitely. I mean, he hasn't missed. I don't want to be like he's turned a corner, but 5 for 5 on extra points is always nice. To be honest, I think a VJ Payne good interception. That was nice to see him get one
one
off.
handed, dude.
Kobe gave him shit too because after the game he was like,
Yeah,
"Yeah, I always say you can't catch." So it's good to
yeah,
see the defense. The defense showed up that game, especially pass rush. You could see they were getting the backfield a lot more than they were against Oklahoma State. So that was good to see. And then the next
yeah. I
man
don't.
up mentality of the linebacker room, especially with Clifton getting kicked out. Thank God he did it in the end of the first half, so we have time
Yeah,
for the TCU game.
yeah, dude. Yeah. I don't remember where I saw it. Is I want to say it was maybe KSU fan on the KSO show.
Mm-hmm.
But they only we only registered 2 sacks, but we had 26 QB pressures. Um, anytime you're heating up a quarterback 26 times, I really like your chances to win that football game. So
Another Jace Brown really is having himself a good freshman year. You know, he's stepping in. I think Spivey is going to be the better athlete overall. Nothing to take away from the kid, but the way that he's even had an impact as a true freshman and what we thought was going to be a stacked wide receiver room has been nice, especially picking up the slack. Uh, again, we're three white dudes that don't play football. We're not to that level, but the receiving room has left a lot to be desired this year. So
so I guess that kind of gets us into the
yeah, I was
elephant in the
I
room,
was
huh?
looking for a bit of a segue into it. Uh, yeah, I guess honestly, we'll just do it this way. Start with you, Caleb, then you, Adam. Just give me your thoughts on everything. Avery and Will.
Yeah, so I mean, to kind of back up your arguments with some of the statistics I've run through, as I mentioned last weekend, if he played the entirety of last season and played like he did in those, I think it was 4 games that he started in, and was like the sole player in the quarterback position, he would have had 3,000 yards. And this year, prior to, uh, and this is including the Oklahoma State game, prior to the Texas Tech game, where we had finally seen that kind of 2 quarterback offense fully, is he would have been on pace for 2,900 like 50 yards. Um, so definitely not as flashy as last year. Definitely some more questionable decision making choices as it relates to picks and pass placement and all that sort of stuff. But at the end of the day, his production was, in theory, on pace to be pretty dang comparable through the regular season. Um, it's so hard because if he leaves after last season, people are damn near putting him on the Mount Rushmore of K-State quarterbacks. He's up there right alongside Colin Klein and Al Roberson as, one of only a few K-State quarterbacks to win a Big 12 championship. Um, he's as of the Texas Tech game, he's top 10 in passing yards at K-State all time, which, considering, with all due respect to him, how much he stunk up until last year, and never was really the starter for a full season, pretty impressive. I just think, like you touched on, and we've been saying, we want to see Avery play. It's a unique opportunity where we have 2 quarterbacks who don't have an ego about being the singular quarterback on the field, who are, at least the way the play calling is going, used in different ways. Um, it's kind of a unique situation and one I think we should take advantage of. But yeah, you touched on a great point. The play calling's been different, and we can't just run Avery all the time. It just kind of pigeonholes us into a absolutely one-dimensional offense. And our wide receivers just aren't getting the separation that we've been wanting out of them. They just aren't. Like, at the end of the day, we don't have that, at least so far, we don't have that explosive playmaker like we kind of saw last year, between Malik Knowles and Cade Warner. Now, neither of them were like crazy all conference first team level performance type of guys, but there was a pretty good shot that at least once a game, either Cade or Malik would have like a 40-yarder down along the sideline. And we just haven't seen a whole lot of that this season. And I don't want to take away from Avery's performance because he played exceptionally well against Texas Tech. But keep in mind, we like to give credit and take credit almost exclusively on the quarterback. But on the first drive that Avery saw play against Texas Tech, we had a good pass to Ben Sinnott, and then what very easily could have been a Keegan Johnson touchdown, and Avery's rushing touchdown was basically from the 1 yard line. So absolutely rushing touchdown for him. Bulk of the work on that drive wouldn't necessarily give him credit for. But again, that's not me taking away from his performance overall. So that's kind of my thoughts. Is I want to see Avery play. I still think Will is the starter, and I know that that's not a popular opinion. But other than the Oklahoma State game, I've really not seen too much to suggest that he couldn't get things done still. We just need to get more creative, I guess, because our receivers can't get that separation we need.
If you are actively cheering against Will Howard, you're fucking weird. I don't usually like take Kansas State bad takes and take it onto the podcast, but there's that crazy Caitlin like said to Caleb like Will lover, like that is a microcosm of an issue with a lot of fan bases, but specifically I want it to not be a problem with K-State, is cheering against a player that hasn't given the desired result. I mean, fucking Christ, guys. Yeah, I do love Will Howard. I love Jake Rubley. I love almost every player that comes and plays for K-State. Like, this is still our team, and there is so much emotionally that is going on with Will Howard right now. Like, no matter what happens, can we fucking cheer for the guy? Like, he's still wearing a Kansas State uniform. So if he ends up being benched come November because Avery Johnson has the 100% trust from Colin Klein, so be it. But fucking stop. Just like, it's not a fun situation to begin with. Everyone wanted Will to succeed. And just because the three of us didn't want to bench the guy after one poor performance does not mean we don't want Avery Johnson. All three of us were kicking our feet behind our head and fucking twirling our hair when he committed. Like, that was such a gigantic recruiting get, and all of us thought that's the future of K-State. Most of us just didn't think it would be this year. So, that's kind of my first point. Don't fucking cheer against Will Howard. Stop it. Like, we were all over him after the Big 12 win. And I get that's last year. That's everyone's favorite point right now. Yeah, that's last year. That's one of 3 times he ever won a Big 12 title. So he deserves maybe 1 year of let the guy be, because he did something that I don't think Adrian Martinez would have done. And we
Nope.
all know Jake Rubley wouldn't have done it. So there was one quarterback last year that would have won us a Big 12 title, and he fucking won it. So that's that. Second of all of the deficiencies that we see when he comes in is not solely on Will Howard. The receiving core has been subpar up to this point, and that's with an RJ Garcia injury. I get that. And I know Keegan he should be 100% by now, but just a weird year. I think everyone expects for him to take off come next year. Phil, he had a good game last week. Prior to that, I don't think he took over the spot that I wanted him to take over. Caleb, I know you said he was never really going to be the wide receiver one, and you're right. He was going to be probably the two, and Keegan be the one.
Mm-hmm.
Just kind of been a weird year with wide receivers, and then our pass blocking on a 6-year offensive line really only looked great last week. I think that this offensive line is very they benefit from a run play. I think that Hayden is a great run blocker, and we saw that with one of Avery's touchdowns. Holy shit, Ben Sinnott laid a man on his ass and then went for seconds on a touchdown run.
That was beautiful.
That alone might have raised his draft stock many points. Like, just watching that on tape, the way he went underneath both those guys, I mean, it looks silly how quickly he laid the first guy on his ass. So what I'm meaning to say is there's a lot of moving parts, and it's a very casual's point of view to be like, oh, it's all in the quarterback. Like, there's a lot of moving parts. The play calling in Oklahoma State sucked. Like, we didn't know if we wanted to run or pass, and then we did a lot of running with DJ Giddin from east to west instead of north to south. And then we saw this week that Trayshawn is a lot better when you go east to west. DJ Giddens, I forget who said this in the space. He is a Ford F-150 with a fucking deer gate on the front with like half of a leg hanging out the front because he just went through a crowd of deer. Like, he is a train. He is a workhorse back, and Trayshawn is, I think, the guy that like is gonna make you look silly. So I think we're still figuring out our offense. I don't like that just it's all going to Will Howard. Here's what sucks even more for Will. Avery is probably at this moment the more complete quarterback. Like, if you add in his ability to run, make plays, improvise, he isn't as good of a passer as Will, obviously. Will's 4 years older than him. But I think that if they both had a great concept of the playbook they're playing with, Avery would be the starter. But Avery's been on campus since last December. This isn't like Avery didn't have enough time. Like, he came half a year early. So Avery's had time to learn the playbook. And if he was that good, he would have been starting this year, and Will would have went somewhere else. So Avery Johnson, according to Colin Klein and Will and Kleiman, is not better than Will Howard, because I doubt that if Will was that bad in camp, they would have just been like, oh, we care about his feelings more than the team winning. I think everyone sees that Will Howard is that good of a quarterback. It's hard. It's going to be interesting. I'm seeing this next week. I don't know what they're going to do, but to act as if Will Howard is no longer an integral piece of this team is fucked up.
Yeah, I mean, so much you just said, I completely 1000% agree with. Just to kind of piggyback on some of the things you said, the first thing you said, yeah, I am a Will Howard lover. I absolutely love that kid to death. He had every opportunity after the way the fans, myself included, treated him the first 2 years on campus to be like, fuck this, I'm out of here. I don't want to play here anymore. These people hate me. And he stuck it out because he loved the university and he loved the coaching staff. And he is the sole reason that we have one of our 3 Big 12 championships. If he doesn't come in at the end of last year, Adrian Martinez goes like probably, I don't know, 7-5, 8-4, and we're playing in some, Texas Bowl, Alamo Bowl, I don't know. But I don't even think we make it to Arlington. And if we make it to Arlington, I know that he's not going to win that game. So you can say, well, Malik this, Cade that, Deuce this, and the defense, all the guys on the defense. All those guys were playing when the offense scored 10 points on a team that plays in the American Athletic in Bill Snyder Family Stadium, okay? This team last year with Adrian Martinez under center was 52nd in points per drive, or 52nd or 54th, whatever, in the 50s. If you just take the drives that Will played in non-garbage time, last year K-State was the fourth best offense, like the fourth most efficient offense in the entire nation. So sorry if the last time we won the Big 12 I was 16 or whatever 15, and I waited 10 years for a Big 12 championship, and the kid that delivered that, sorry if I'm a little bit partial to him. The second point, this was a year where Will had a chance to go from like a folk hero that like came in and saved a Big 12 championship season to like a guy that's going to be in the Ring of Honor. And it breaks my heart that that is not going to happen because I don't think that he is going to finish this year as the starting quarterback. Avery is such an intelligent kid. I think that eventually, in these next couple of weeks, with more and more reps, he's going to have a grip of the offense, and I think that he is going to take over as the starter eventually. But in the meantime, until that happens, until I see Colin Klein actually open up the playbook and trust him to throw the ball down the football field, this team needs Will Howard in order to win football games. And for everyone to get on Twitter after this kid proved us all wrong once and shit down his neck because the wide receivers can't get open and the offensive line's really been pretty poor pass blocking wise all year. I can't wrap my head around that. That makes no sense to me. And then third of all, and I guess we can kind of get into this later once we get done writing Will Howard's eulogy here, but for a kid as highly thought of by this staff and really the everyone, the fans, the national media in general, after the year he had, after he wins the Big 12, for Avery Johnson to come in here and in 6 games usurp him as what most people believe is the best quarterback on the team. What he's now listed on the depth chart as as the starting quarterback with Will. That is so impressive. And this is not I will defend Will Howard forever. Like I said, I love that kid. But this is not an anti Avery Johnson thing. I love Avery too. And that's what I think so many people are getting lost in, which is I think the best point that Eric made is this team needs Avery and Will right now playing their best football if we're going to make another run at Arlington. And we still control our own destiny. Win out and we're there. And to shit on Will when we still need him is so dumb to me. And I hope more than anything that he starts that football game Saturday against TCU and he comes out and lights the world on fire and throws for 400 yards and shuts everyone up.
I'd be fucking
But
pissed, dude. Like if I'm Will Howard, like
yeah,
I mean, this could be a game where you're like, fuck you guys. Like, have you forgotten so easily the 49-0 win where y'all held me on your shoulders?
that's what I don't get. And like I said, this isn't the anti Avery Johnson podcast. Like I think that it's so impressive what he's been able to do as an 18-year-old, but what are we doing?
Why are people even being like saying we like Will Howard and love Will Howard? Why is that? Like that is not A plus B equals C. It is not you love Will Howard, you must hate Avery Johnson. No, you dipshit. I just love the quarterback that came in midway last season and won us a Big 12 title. That's it.
Here's my soapbox that I won't stand on for long, but it is a soapbox I'll stand on, and I don't do this very often either. So, bear with me if you think it's a little bit harsh. Call me a Will lover if you want. I don't care. Yes, I love the kid, and here's the thing too. When Will Howard started doing well, all of a sudden people are saying, "Oh, Will Howard's great. He had some awesome mentors who were really helping him along the way. Skylar Thompson, Adrian Martinez. They were all willing to work together to achieve a common goal." And so he's backup quarterback to Skylar, and then all of a sudden Jake Rubley, who's supposedly the best thing since sliced bread, gets recruited from under him, and he's probably thinking, "Oh Christ, well, okay." Jake Rubley's going to get the start over me now. That doesn't pan out. Adrian Martinez transfers in. Now he's the starting quarterback. And when Will starts playing well, they give credit, which, as credit is due to Skylar, to Adrian. And now, of course, that Avery's playing well, and we see that Will's being a good mentor to him, and Avery is saying that Will's being a good mentor to him. For Christ's sake, at least give Will some credit for being a good mentor to Avery, because we are so quick to give Avery all the credit because he is an absolutely talented quarterback.
Mhm.
He's going to be a great quarterback. But the fact that everyone is so unwilling to give Will credit because they're so blinded by the fact that we love Avery and we're so excited for Avery is kind of disgusting to me, frankly, because we're not giving him equal treatment. We're giving credit to the people who come before him for some of his success, and then his predecessor, we're not giving him credit at the very least for being a mentor for Avery. It's just, to me, it's mind-boggling. It's disrespectful. I'm asking people to be consistent on that front as well, and it's really, really frustrating.
Not only is that a fantastic point, Adam, if you go listen to Avery after the game, he flat out said, I played Kansas high school football. I didn't really know how to read like Power 5 defenses. Will's helped me so much with that. Will has helped me learning the playbook. He's gotten me up to speed on the playbook. After every drive, I came over to the sideline. He told me how proud he was. He told me what he was seeing. He helped me out. I just, what am I not, what, like, if Avery is saying that, then why can't you guys get off Will's back?
I don't know. It's the fact that people act like it's mutually exclusive, that if you really like Will, then you must not like Avery. And it's just absurd to me that, not saying that giving Skylar and Adrian credit for helping mentor Will is taking away from Will's success, but in the same breath, you're not giving Will credit for having been a mentor to Avery, especially because Avery got here early. I have no doubt that they were very good friends and spent a lot of time together, Will teaching Avery how K-State football works.
Well, I don't want to beat a dead horse any longer, so let's look ahead to something a little more enjoyable to talk about than heartbreak. TCU, backup quarterback coming in last week, Hoover takes the spot for Chandler Morris after he's been injured. He will be out again this week, so we'll get a second dose of Hoover. 4 touchdowns, 2 picks, and a shit ton of yards, close up to 500 against BYU, who has shown they're quite stinky on the defensive end. Boys, 7.5 favorites for the Cats at home. What do you think?
I don't like that, first of all.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. I think we said the same thing about UCF, and of course we said the same thing about Texas Tech, and them being, get right games and that sort of stuff. But I think we figured it out. Kind of Avery Will discussion aside, regardless of how the quarterback situation pans out this game with who's starting, who plays, who sees the most snaps, whatever. I think we've really kind of cracked the code on what needs to be done on offense. Defense, especially secondary, looked the best they have this whole season so far. So I think there's a lot to look forward to. TCU is definitely a different team than they were last year. I don't know. I'm looking forward to it. I'm nervous, as I always will be, with K-State games, just being a K-State fan. But yeah, I mean, as a whole, I would say that now having games behind us, I would say I'm fairly confident. Like I said, I think we've sort of cracked the code, so to speak. We'll see.
It frustrates the hell out of me that we have to show our ass before we figure it out in the Chris Kleiman era. It frustrates me to no end. And I can't decide if right now if I want to say that we're going to lose again like I did last week so that maybe we'll win so that everyone can.
Dude, the Caleb
I had people
real.
I had people dunking on me for saying oh, you thought we were going to lose tonight. It's like, well, I was probably like 60% thought we were going to lose, 40% reverse jinx. But no, my honest take is one of two things are going to happen. Will Howard is going to figure it out and shit down TCU's neck, or he's not, and Avery's going to do it. Because I think the way Avery's playing right now, the amount of confidence that he's playing with, and the amount of confidence that the whole team and swagger that the team has around him, um, I think that if Will doesn't get it figured out, I think Avery's probably going to take the starting job Saturday if Will doesn't. This is kind of his last stand. And then defensively, I think, like I said earlier, with Kobe playing in the middle, kind of quarterback in the defense, getting Jake Clifton back. Luckily, he had that targeting the end of the first half. Um, Heated up the quarterback great. I think the defense kind of got their swagger back a little bit too in Lubbock. I think it was the definition of a get right game, and I don't know if we cover. I hate betting like a 7.5 because of the hook. I might buy it down to like 7. But I do think that we win. I think we win Saturday.
I think we win as well. I think you're right with it being the last stand game for Will and taking our feelings out of it in the entire discussion that we just had. If one can't figure it out, the second will come in. And I'll tell you, that is a humongous luxury to have in college
Yeah,
football. I mean, you can't
absolutely.
even, like, this situation isn't, optimal for what we wanted, but like the fact that there's a safety net there and you don't even know who the safety net could be. I think Will start.
Me
But
too.
I think that the defense of BYU is nothing compared to K-State. Kobe Savage, since becoming basically the center fielder for this defense, has absolutely taken control in a bunch of aspects. I that our defensive ends got more pressure, 26 pressures. Did we discuss that yet?
Yeah,
Yeah, 26, insane. Like, we on the defensive end of the ball will not allow Homeboy to throw for that much. And the fact he threw 2 picks against BYU is good too, right? I mean, we're a much better defensive team, so that number, not that it should go up, but definitely will play a factor in the fact that he is a freshman. So I like Kansas State. I like us a lot. I think Colorado exposed a lot of TCU, a lot of film on them, how to dissect their defense, and I have confidence that at least one of our quarterbacks will just shit down their throat, like you said, Caleb. So couldn't happen to a lesser university, in my opinion. I dislike TCU quite a bit. Um, it'll be fun, but -7.5. Vegas knows something. I don't see us losing. You can put that to the bank.
yeah. I think that's funny, Eric, because I was actually thinking about that today. In parallel universe, like I would have been going in on how much I hate TCU and their fans and their players and their program, everything about them today. But instead, I'm defending Will Howard's honor, and it's from our it be your own, right? It be your own.
It'd be your own. Yeah,
But
hey,
yeah,
like 2 years ago, could you imagine defending Will for an hour?
no, I couldn't. But yeah, I absolutely hate TCU. I hate their fans. And it would bring me great satisfaction to destroy them.
I could not think of a better way to end the pod. Any final thoughts, boys?
Oh, I was gonna say we should get back into stinky sighting, my friend.
You raise a fantastic point. So, starting off with stinky sightings, folks, if you haven't heard, you have to go back a few episodes because Kansas State has been so damn stinky recently. We get to look at scores, look at teams from the past week, decide what happened with those teams and who just really stunk it up. Really, really fucking smelled. I want to start off by saying Kansas, fuck you, talking a whole lot of shit after a loss to Oklahoma State last week, and they lost in quite a hilarious fashion. Jason Bean had quite a game for them, and they still shit on him after. I know he made bad decisions at the end of the game, but there was some pretty shitty play calling in there. So my stinker of the week is either them or West Virginia for losing to Houston. It shouldn't have even come down to a Hail Mary. Like,
Yeah, I was gonna say, congratulations to, as much as I like West Virginia, congratulations to Houston for finally beating the allegations of being the absolute stinkiest team in the Big 12. Although I think they might still be. Um, yeah, that was being a West Virginia enjoyer, that was a tough pill to swallow. Like I mentioned, that motherfucker gave me whiplash. Um, you know, I would say that it wasn't a very good loss. Yeah, Kansas to Oklahoma State. It does make me feel a little bit better about our loss, knowing that we're not the only team who will lose to someone we're not supposed to, given that it's our in-state rival in the same team that we both lost to. Real quick, I wanted to take a quick side trip to a soon-to-be Big 12 school. I love Colorado's
there it
downfall
is.
so much. I love it
Yeah.
so
I knew it
much.
because I'm scrolling through the scores here and I'm like, fuck,
Oh,
that one.
Adam, you're reading my mind, brother. Let them have it.
Go in.
29-point loss. I mean, blowing a 29-point lead and losing in double over. It's just the greatest thing ever,
Your
man.
fucking
It's the greatest
quarterback's
thing ever.
posting merch at halftime, you smug fuck. Get the
You're
fuck
up
out of here.
29-0 at halftime, and you go in to the locker room, and it might have been a social media manager that did it, but the optics of it and the point of it is, oh, I'm up 29 at halftime, buy my merch like I'm so fucking cool, and then you blow a 29-point lead to 1-4 Stanford
Sell the fucking watch, you dork.
on your
Yeah,
home
I was
field.
about to say, sell the AP, buy some better defense for your team, I guess, brother.
Yeah, donate it to the NIL funds. You can get a fucking cornerback because every single week someone gets on the front page of ESPN for exposing your ass. Travis,
Their downfall
not
is
even his fault, really.
glorious.
You play him that much, he's gonna have a bad play in overtime. How many snaps did the poor kid have?
Yeah, he was playing a lot on offense, wasn't he? I think, but oh no, well, yeah, yeah, he was. He had 13 catches for 140 yards and two
Are you
touchdowns,
fucking?
but
Of course, he's gonna blow a coverage in overtime. You have to get your third string out there. He's gonna put up a better fight.
Yeah.
he
All I'm
got
saying is
absolutely owned
That was
defensively.
insane. That was
the
fucking
the
nuts.
tux is at the dry cleaners for Colorado's downfall. I'm ready.
uh, yeah. So I guess that was definitely going to be where I was going to go, but since Adam read my mind, I would like to give my stinky sighting of the week to the Big 12 newcomers because it took till October 12th, year of our Lord 2023, for one of the newcomers to beat the irate eight, and it was Houston who sucks the most out of all of them that did the honors. So I think that
On a Hail Mary jump ball, no
yeah,
less.
yeah. So I think I think eventually, especially BYU and UCF, I think in the long run will be fine. Cincinnati, I think, needs either a coaching change or a quarterback change before I can really determine what they're going to do. I was so excited for them with Luke Fickle, but I just don't think
I think
Satterfield
it's
is it.
quarterback, man.
Yeah, Amori Jones is terrible, but Houston, I think, has the most potential out of all the four of them, but they're easily the worst team for me out of those four right now. And for them to be the one that gets on the board, you got to be ashamed of yourself if you're UCF, BYU, or Cincinnati, in my opinion. So that's my stinky sighting is this watered down league. Can't wait till Utah gets here. Never thought I'd say that.
I do want to give an honorable mention to Caleb Williams. Absolutely
Yeah.
shitting the bed. 3 picks,
Yeah.
not even 200 yards passing. I know Notre Dame is good competition, but you can't be the Heisman winner, reigning, and want to compete for a second and just stink the bed like that. So, yeah, that was pretty rough for them. But boys, any more we wanna cover for the stinky sightings?
Yeah, I guess maybe Caleb Williams needs to start painting his nails again. Maybe he'll get something done.
Pitt whooped the shit out of Louisville. I didn't even see that. Or sorry, yeah,
Yeah.
38-21. Arizona, Washington State, 44 to fucking 6. That was pretty crazy.
That was pretty heinous.
Yeah, I would say that covers it. Texas Tech for allowing a true freshman to run for 5 touchdowns on you.
Yeah,
Folks,
that's pretty stinky.
I love every single one of you guys that listens to us absolute hooligans talk about sports for an hour. You mean the world to us, seriously. Wouldn't do this podcast without you. Thank you guys for listening. For me, Caleb, and Adam, that'll do it for episode 7 going into TCU. Let's hope this is a great pod next week and we get to continue this on into Houston and then eventually the big game. I'm sure most of you will be down there. I'll be down there myself for Texas. So let's keep this momentum rolling. I'll end it with a go Cats.
Go Cats.
I fucking love you, Will Howard.